Okay, hello, this is Glass Garden Books, and today I'm here to talk about The Prince of the Pond and Jimmy the Pickpocket of the Palace by Donna Napoli. Both of these books are fairly short and quick. The Prince of the Pond was about 151 pages, I think, and Jimmy the Pickpocket of the Palace was 165. The Prince of the Pond was the first book. Jimmy the Pickpocket of the Palace was the sequel. The first one, The Prince of the Pond, it was about a prince who was human, who an evil witch cursed him and made him into an actual frog. And he kept trying to go around and tell everyone in the pond that he was the frog prince, but it came out the fog pen. And no one in the pond could understand why he kept saying that and strutting around and acting like he was a king. Jimmy was actually the prince, the frog prince's son. But he was actually a frog, because the frog prince in the first book finds a girl frog who tries to help him in all his little adventures of trying to become prince again. And they ended up falling in love and having a frog family. Well, at some point, something is about to happen that needs Jimmy to go to the palace and try to get an item from the king or someone there in order to save the pond and or his family. And so it's more of the adventure of him going to the palace and a princess picking him up, giving him a kiss, and him changing into a human and not understanding why he's a human. And having to learn how to deal with humans and in a palace and working there, and whether he should steal the item or not steal the item. And then it all boils down to what happens at the end. And I remember when I read the first one, it was a little sad, but it was okay. It was kind of happy. The second one, Jimmy the Pickpocket of the Palace, when I read it, it begins off kind of funny, but it's kind of got a serious note to it, and at the end, what I remember is it being kind of sad ending. So, that's a bit of a spoiler. Yes, it has a bit of a sad ending. Now, both of these books on the inside have pictures, some within the pages, like this one. It's got pretty big pages where it's a lot of space, so it's a very quick read. So it's a very quick read when it's got a lot of space on the pages. The letters are very big. Some pages are full page pictures. So even though it's like 100 and something pages, there's a lot of pictures within the book, as you can see. Whole bunch of pages in the book are pictures that take up the story. So really, it's almost like reading a book half the size. So if you wanted, and the second book is the same. Jimmy has the same exact layout on the inside. It has little pictures and big pictures, full page pictures all throughout it. So both books are almost half the size. So the first one, 151 pages, is more like a 75-page book. So you can literally read it in almost 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. It only takes, and that's for me, a slow reader. So it's a nice little chapter book also for younger kids. It is aimed at younger kids, but the second book was pretty serious and for little kids, or a little bit of a very sad note, not a happy ending from what I remember. But I could be wrong. It might have had a happier ending, but it seemed like some of it got wrapped up in a good way and some in a bad way. So it was a bit mixed and left you a little bit sad. It wasn't pure happy at the end of Jimmy. But anyway, so those are the two books. They were very good for reads. They were very quick. If you need a quick read, just to up your book count, you could definitely read both of them in the same day, or at least one day, one another for just a few hours and have them read. They were quick reads. They were fast. They were pretty much funny. There were a lot of funny parts. They made you feel. So they were definitely at least 4 stars. Prince of the Pond might have been more of a 4.5, and Jimmy, I only put it like a 4. Jimmy was just as good a book as the first book, but because it left on a kind of sadder note than the first book, wanting a totally happy ending, then that's why I give it a lower score, in my opinion. I'll prefer books that wrap up nicely with happy endings. They leave you feeling way nicer than ones that are more realistic, and that one was a little more realistic to what may have happened or could have happened in that situation. Be aware, they're a little more realistic, not as happy of an ending. But they were very good books and nice illustrations throughout them. So do give it a try. Donna Jo Napoli. I've read a few of her other books, which are also fairly good. I've read Spinners and a few of the other fairy tale books she's done. I haven't read all of her books. I've read a few, like Spinners. So she's a good author on the fairy tale front. I haven't read her other kinds of books that were more historical or fiction, but her told fairy tales are pretty good. Alright, that's it.